Okay, so today is going to be a little bit of a different style. It's not going to really be a weekly roundup. I'm going to do some laws of Rosh Hashanah, of Sukkot, and then maybe like an insight or two. So this Friday night, Saturday begins Sukkot, which means we will not shake the lulav and esrog Friday night and Saturday. If you're in a synagogue that shakes the lulav and esrog on Sukkot, you on Saturday, this Shabbos, you're not in the right synagogue, so get out of there. Okay, we will though shake it on Sunday. Now the mitzvah today's called God's Tog. Today's called God's Day. We begin the construction of our sukkah. If you haven't already, you should begin or at least talk about the construction of a sukkah. Learn the construction of a sukkah. So you get busy from one mitzvah to the next. What's unique about this month, the month of Tishrei, says that God sends the Satan. Yeah, he sends the accusing angel. As we know, explained many times, he doesn't have a will of his own or anything like that. He's a worker for God. He's a prosecuting attorney. He's always trying to find a way in this month to find something wrong with us. Yeah, to bring bad news to God. This is when God gives him full range to try to find bad things about us. And he always comes back complaining, saying they're so busy with mitzvot, they're so busy that I can't find anything wrong with them. That's the trick to not getting yourself in trouble. Stay very busy. And there's plenty of things to be busy with. Okay, so a little Kabbalah insights. If you want to know from the Arizal, it says that the Anan, the cloud that is created from the Kohen Gadol, the high priest, on Yom Kippur, when he walks into the Holy of Holies, he lights the incense, and that becomes a big cloud. Yeah, Anan becomes an Anan. That cloud then becomes the Schach on Sukkot, on our Sukkah. And you have to have a part of Hashem, a part of God that creates, that manifests, takes from something so holy and to make it physical into Schach. These 4 days between Yom Kippur and Sukkot correspond to the 4 letters of God's name. There is a certain transition happening, and things are becoming more, this incredible spiritual energy is becoming more physical, which is great news for us. And ultimately, it's going to culminate on Simchas Torah, when we dance with the Torah, the idea that we can channel all of whatever is happening on Yom Kippur and on Tishrei and make it part of ourselves and live with it throughout the year. Yeah, because when you think of ideas become who you are. Yeah, the trick to becoming a different person or becoming the true version of yourself is, what do you fill your mind with? What do you think about? Kabbalah says you got to think godly things and you become a godly person. So we thank God we have something called the Torah, and we can tap into that every single day. Anyway, this is a transition period, these next 4 days. So these are very holy days to stay very busy. Try to stay busy any way you can. Okay, so we begin making the sukkah. You should know about building the sukkah. The main thing of the sukkah is the schach, is the leaves or the branches that cover. The branches have to come from a living entity, a living tree. They have to be cut down and removed from that tree. Bamboo is like the go-to for everything. You should use bamboo, is great. But the bamboo, you have to make sure it has a hechsher. It has to be kosher bamboo. Schach has to be cut down by a Jew. It has to be handled by a Jew. The walls of a sukkah can be whatever you want. Yeah, it can be metal. It can be whatever you want. Can it be metal? Wait a minute. Maybe I don't know if it can be metal.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, already. I have a question.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna be alone in my sukkah venture, but I'm not Jewish yet. So like, what, like if I build a sukkah, like no one's gonna be able to sit under it or say the bracha because it's just like a hut.
That's great. You should get like, one of the rabbis or anybody Jewish to come and help you. Just put the schach, only the schach. Just get them to put the schach up. You know what you could do also is that you can build the entire thing with the schach. And what you could do is, when somebody comes, a Jewish person comes, they can move the schach to make it unkosher and then make it kosher again. Let me explain how to do that. One of the rules of becoming of something, a sukkah being kosher, is that it has to be majority shade than sun. So if you sit in your sukkah, majority of the shade has to come, it has to be majority shade, so 51% has to be shaded, and it has to come from the schach. So you have to remember, you have to like imagine you have a sukkah in the middle of your field, so there's no trees around. If the sun were to beat down, straight down onto my sukkah, 51% of it has to be shaded, and it has to come from the schach. Now, so the way to do that, to make it kosher really quickly, is that you get a Jew to move the schach, just stand up there, move the schach, so that it would be like 51% sunlight. You know what I mean? Like make it so it's really bright, and then they could just move it back. So it could take 5 seconds. Do whatever you can to make it not kosher for a moment, and then you can make it kosher again. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay.
It's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. So that's something you could do, or you just get someone to make the schach. Okay. It cannot be built underneath a tree. I remember growing up, the big sukkah at the conservative shul that we went to. It was like great and shaded because it was underneath like the gigantic tree. Okay, you can't do that. It's a problem. Can't have it. First of all, why is Sukkot? We're not going to get to, for sure, not going to get to all these laws today. But why is Sukkot this time of the year? So there's what's called the pshat. There's the simple, straightforward answer, and then there's deeper answers. And sometimes the simple answer is insufficient. So let me give you the simple answer over here. Why is Sukkot now? What does the Sukkot remind us of? Why are we? What's the whole idea of sitting in a sukkah? Don't answer that. I'll just answer it because it's to save time. To remember that we sat in clouds or in booths when we left Egypt. When we left Egypt while we were in the desert. So like, the best time to sit in it would be Passover Seder. We should be having our Passover Seder inside of a sukkah, because both remind us of the miracles that we had while we were in the desert when we left Egypt. But it's not. It's this time of the year. So the Torah gives one reason why it's this time of the year, and the Minchas Chinuch gives another one. So the Torah says, Nekar mitzvah. If you were to sit in like a gazebo in a sukkah during springtime, there's nothing novel about that. Everybody in the Northern Hemisphere is basically doing that because it's beautiful weather. And it wouldn't look like it's a real mitzvah. You're doing it for the mitzvah. I'm sitting in my sukkah for the mitzvah. So the answer is given that let's put it in a time when it's least desirable to sit in your sukkah. At least by us here in Michigan, it's already cold and rainy. Doesn't make any sense to go sit in your gazebo at that period of time. That's the Torah's answer. The Minchas Chinuch gives another answer. The Minchas Chinuch says it's Zman HaKotzer. It's the time of harvesting when our crops are all, we're ready to reap and take our crops. And it's payday, as he calls it. It's payday, and we're very excited about payday. And because it's payday, you get paid today, God says, I'm going to give you a holiday during that period of time to add to your joy, because God loves when we're joyful. So that's 2 answers that are given, but they're pretty insufficient. I heard a good parable today. He's like, there's deeper answers. There's truer answers. I know a good parable was, why do airlines serve delicious food on the plane? So the answer you might give is to make it an enjoyable experience. But is that the real answer? Yeah, on a certain level, that is the real answer. That is a real answer. You want it to be enjoyable, but really, you go deeper than that. They want you to fly their airplane. Why do they want you to fly their airplane? So they can make money. Why do they want to make money? Because the CEO wants another mansion, or he wants to just be the boss, and then you go even deeper. He's got insecurities, and he's got he's like intimidated by people, and he's got to do something to show that he's like really great and big. And this expresses itself in having a great big airline and making lots of money. So there's deeper and deeper answers. The classic idea is by kosher. So why do we have kosher animals? I mean, why do we only eat from kosher animals? Well, we see because they're not predatory. We don't eat predatory animals. Is that the real reason why? No, because according to Kabbalah and Chassidus, they have koichas atuma. These predatory animals come from the level of tuma. For those of you that go to Rabbi Weinberg's Tanya Shir, they come from tuma. It expresses itself in a way of being predatory, but really deeper down, it's got tuma. We can't elevate this level of tuma. Okay. So what's a deeper answer why we sit in the sukkah? So we have 2 answers from before. So what's a deeper answer why we sit in the sukkah? One of the ideas, we said it already, that the idea that this is a manifestation of the cloud in the Holy of Holies that was created from the incense, it then becomes schach. It becomes more physical, and now it becomes more accessible to everybody. Everybody can sit in a sukkah. Not everyone has an obligation to sit in a sukkah, but everyone can sit in a sukkah, and we bring our daily life into the Holy of Holies, so to speak. Yeah, we bring it into, we eat and we drink, and some of us sleep inside. We do very mundane activities in the holy setting, because that is what our life is all about. Another answer is that, another Kabbalistic answer is that joy, we know that Sukkot is Zman Simchatenu, it's the time of our rejoicing. And the trick to joy is any time of the year. Joy, what God is saying over here is that you don't need a beautiful weather, and you don't need to wait for some outside great thing to fall upon you or happen to you to feel joyful. Joy can even be when it's dark and rainy and uncomfortable. You can still have joy. You can have joy. Joy is a choice. Joy is a choice. And so God is teaching us that I'm putting it in a time that doesn't make any sense. There's no reason to have joy this time of the year. It should be in the summer or in the spring. God is saying, no, I'm specifically when things are going a little awry or dark and rainy and uncomfortable, there you can have joy too. And so we should have joy any time of our life. Okay. I have a lot more about Sukkot. It's about darkness, lack of clarity. There's a lot of deep chassidus on Sukkot that I'll save perhaps for another class. Okay, so it can't be underneath can't build the sukkah underneath what's it called? The trees, and nothing can be impeding. Schach detached from the tree. The schach shouldn't be anything the schach shouldn't dip down, shouldn't be in your face while you're there. And it shouldn't smell bad. If it does smell bad, it's okay, but it shouldn't smell bad. Make sure you're sitting underneath the schach when you eat. Women don't have an obligation to sit in the sukkah. However, they do have they get the mitzvah if they do, and they make the bracha leishev b'sukkah. So before I get into that, Chabad has the minhag. I know it says in Shulchan Aruch that when you put the schach on top of the sukkah, you should be able to see the stars. Chabad has the custom to make it thick, not too thick where rain can't come in. Rain has to be able to penetrate, but it should be thick. Again, sukkah is really about the schach. The schach is whatever. It's all about the schach. It should be pretty thick. It's about darkness. The darker it is, the better. Can't be too dark though, but it's got to be pretty dark. Okay. Let's see over here. Okay, it shouldn't be any frivolity inside the sukkah. The sukkah is like you can hang out, and it's a good place to hang out and learn all these different things, but you shouldn't be frivolous in there. God's presence is there. It's called Makifin Debina. It's this level of God that's revealed. The walls, okay, whatever. It can't be too tall. Chabad has a custom not to decorate the sukkah because we decorate it with guests. It's all about guests. This sukkah is a lot about guests. We have something called the Ushpizin, the guests that come. It's brought down in Sfarim, in books, that Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Moshe, David, Yosef, and Aaron come to all 7 days of Sukkot to sit with us, and some have the custom of welcoming them when they come in, saying, Avram, please sit down. Now, all of them actually come at the same time, but there's one guest who is the main guest of that time. We also have the Chassidic Ushpizin, as they're called. Ushpizin means guests. We have the Chassidic Rebbes that come to visit, starting from the Baal Shem Tov to the Maggid of Mizrich, all the way to the Rebbe Rashab. And we have the custom of explaining who Avram is on the first day and who Yitzchak is on the second day, and also the Chassidic Rebbes who come to visit us. So we have guests. If you hang fruits and stuff from your sukkah, Shulchan Aruch says don't eat them. Unless you say beforehand, I don't care if someone eats them or takes from them. But you shouldn't really you can hang fruits and whatever you like, but you're not allowed to eat them unless you stipulate beforehand that you want to eat them. I actually didn't know that, but I just reviewed that right now. It's very interesting. Okay. We sit in it even when it's raining. So if you have pain sitting in the sukkah, you don't have to sit in the sukkah anymore. Even like the slightest amount of rain, if it bothers you, you can leave. But Chabad has the custom to sit in there at all times. We don't sleep in there. And we have different reasons for not sleeping in there. One is because we have a pain that we don't feel God's presence. So we have a pain. First of all, when you sleep, you don't know what's going on in your. It says your body does whatever it wants to do. You scratch things in your head. You do whatever. Yeah. So you don't have control of yourself. So therefore, we don't want to be in God's presence when we can't control ourselves. Another, the source for us not really sleeping in the sukkah, one of the earliest sources that the Rebbe brings down is that if you look inside the Gemara says that the sages didn't sleep for 7 days. Now there was a big halacha. What do you mean? They didn't sleep in the sukkah. They didn't sleep in the sukkah. Basically, they didn't sleep for 7 days. There's actually a halacha that says you're not allowed to sleep. You can't go more than 3 days without sleeping. That's a halacha. So those of you like, what's that called when you try to dream? What's it called? When you try to control your dreams. Anybody know what I'm talking about?
Lucid dreaming.
What is it? Lucid dreaming. Yeah. So we're not really into that because I think you got to like stay awake for like borderline 3 days to start doing that. So yeah, we're not big onto lucid dreaming. I had a teacher, a Rebbe at yeshiva, who was like, when I was younger, I'd do lucid dreaming. I just remember him saying that at this period of time. Anyway, can't do that. Shouldn't really do that. So the sages, they didn't sleep. So the Gemara says, how did they not sleep for 7 days? You have to sleep for more than 3 days. And says when they were dancing on Simchas Beis HaShoeva, which I'll explain in a moment what that is, they would put their head on the shoulder of the guy in front of them. They would dance in a circle and they put their head on the shoulder and they would like kind of dream. They would sleep in and out for like a few moments. So, okay, interesting. Anyway, we see that they didn't sleep inside their sukkah. They didn't sleep outside the sukkah and then they didn't sleep in the sukkah. But we sleep inside our house, in our whatever. We also learn inside because it's more comfortable. We don't pray inside. We don't daven inside of a sukkah. A lot of people do. They daven. They do everything in sukkah. Chabad, we don't because it's more comfortable. Davening is about you have to have kavana, intention, clear. You should be able not to be distracted. Same thing with learning. Shouldn't be distracted. So therefore, we do everything inside the house.
Rabbi.
Yeah. So much.
Real quick.
Yeah.
So when we shake the lulav, we don't do the whole service in there?
Correct. Yeah, good. Yeah, good. Yes, exactly. Okay. No, we don't. We do it inside the shul.
Oh.
Yeah. You could, but we don't do it. The Chabad custom is it's a custom. We do it inside the shul. However, we do shake the lulav and esrog for the first time in the morning. Every morning we do shake it inside of the sukkah. There's a special connection with the lulav and esrog with the sukkah, and we do it in there. So when we wake up in the morning and you go downstairs, you go into your sukkah. I don't know if you're downstairs, whatever. You go into your sukkah, you should shake your lulav and esrog in there. You don't have to, by the way, but that's our custom. Yeah, and then we come inside and we dive inside the shul.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Simchas Beis HaShoeva. During the times of the Beis HaMikdash, there was they would pour water on the altar. Usually it was always wine, but they would pour water. I'm not going to get into the whole significance of water. That I'll save that for a Hasidic class. But water represents Torah. It's our essential connection with God. It has no taste. It's pure. It's simple, just like the simple connection that we have with God. And they would pour water onto the altar, and it was accompanied with great fanfare. It was an all-night dancing party. And we do that today. We do that in the streets. If you go to Borough Park, Crown Heights, Williamsburg, probably, I'm not sure. Certainly Jerusalem, and many other Chabad communities, not just Chabad, or Hasidic community, anywhere, I don't know, Jewish communities. There's all-night dancing. During the week, when you can play music, first 2 days of if you live outside of Israel, the first 2 days of Sukkot and the last 2 days are Yom Tiv. Yeah, we don't play music or electronics. It's like Shabbos, basically, except you can cook. Except for this first day, it's Shabbos. You can't cook. There's dancing all night. So it's Simchas Beis HaShoeva. It's called the joy of the pouring, because they would pour the water, and it was accompanied with great fanfare. So we continue that custom till today. Hence my story with the guys sleeping while they were dancing. Yeah, we have that here in West Bloomfield. We have it all night. I mean, it's supposed to be. I usually fall asleep well before then, unfortunately. It's because I have little kids. I got to put them to sleep, I get tired too. Okay. Okay, so now you have the 4. Okay, when it comes to buying the lulav and esrog, make sure you buy it from a kosher place. A lot of laws. You guys want to see what a kosher hadas looks like? A willow. It looks like this one. Can't look like that. It's got to look like this. Yeah, nice. It's called mashulash. It's got to be 3 ways. It's got to look like that. We have a custom of having a lot of hadassim on our lulav and esrog. The Rebbe would sometimes have like 36 hadassim, the willows. Let me just explain one thing over here. The esrog should be, it says it should be yellow. The Rebbe's was a little green yellow. It doesn't matter if it has the pitum, it has like a little, some of us have like, what's it called? The pitum is like a, I don't know, what do you call it? It's like a knob at the top. It's like a little seed at the top. You can have that, or you can buy it without it. Okay, the Gemara says,
Rabbi,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
But they say, that pit that you're talking about on the estrog,
Yeah.
they say that you got to be careful with it because if it falls and it becomes unkosher and you can't use it again.
True. That's true. Yeah. So the Rebbe didn't really have one, but for whatever reason, the ones we get over here where I live always have the pitum on it. I don't know why. I never would want it. Yes, if it has the pitum and the pitum falls off, it's a problem. It's a problem. Pitum is like, you'll see if it has like a little seed at the top, make sure it doesn't fall off. So if you drop it, it's a big problem. We buy them I personally buy mine from Calabria, Italy. It says that Moses, there's a measure that says that Moses, when he was in the desert, he went to Italy, a place called Calabria. Today it's Calabria. Yanov, I don't know, Yanov. He went to Yanov, and he bought his esrog from there. So many of us have the custom to pay like 5 times the amount of money for one of those. A lot of money. But it's really, they don't look any, the ones from Israel are just as kosher, just FYI. Okay, so what does it say about an esrog? It's a very important, it's my favorite line of the whole entire Sukkot. One of them, at least. It says, pre-Eitz Hadar. The Gemara says, the Torah tells us about Sukkot, you should take a pre-Eitz Hadar, a beautiful fruit. It doesn't say take an esrog, it says pre-Eitz Hadar. So the Gemara in Sukkah, Talmud in Sukkah asks, what's a pre-Eitz Hadar? And says this is an esrog. Why is an etrog, the most beautiful? Why is it considered beautiful? So it gives 2 reasons. One of it is because its fruit and its branch have the same taste. So it's like a completeness, shows on like something complete, which also will be when Mashiach comes, because this is how it was in the times of Adam and Eve. Every branch and fruit, every tree had a fruit. Every single tree that was created had a fruit, and it was edible. And the branch tasted like the fruit. So it's like this idea of what used to be, how it was when it was perfect, and how it will be when time is perfect. Another answer the Gemara gives is because it stays on it continues to grow throughout all 4 seasons. It's unique. Which means it takes in all elements, whatever elements come at it, it absorbs them and uses them out for growth. And God calls that beautiful. If you can take any element that comes your way, good, the bad, the ugly, but use it out in a positive, constructive way, God says that is what I call beautiful. That's called Hadar. That's called beautiful.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, isn't it? It's my favorite. Okay. There's a lot of ideas on Sukkot. Sukkot is the holiday of holidays. And it culminates with Simchas Torah, obviously, which we'll talk about next week. Okay. Erev Sukkot, if you didn't get a haircut, you should get a haircut. Cut your nails. Give tzedakah. As always, we don't need to make an Erev Tafshilin. So if you're wondering what that is, don't worry about it. We have to do it this year. We light the candles inside the sukkah. That's the Chabad custom. You don't have to. However, I don't know if you guys know this. When you make Kiddush Friday night, you're supposed to look at the candles before you make Kiddush. You guys know this? The Gemara tells us that it restores whatever eye deficiency you might have accrued during that week. It says when you walk fast or take big steps, it hurts your eyes, diminishes your eye's ability. And you gain it back when you glance at the candles before Kiddush. So if you're going to make Kiddush in the Sukkah, which we will do Friday night, Saturday, when you make Kiddush, you have to be able to see candles. So you can put it in a way, you can design your sukkah in a way that you can see inside your house to see the candles. The Chabad custom is to have the candles inside the sukkah. Obviously, you should be careful about how you do it. If they fall over, right, it could be a problem. We'll make Shechianu. Just look inside the siddur of what the brachas to make. It's not worth me saying it now because you're going to need to be reminded later. Women, like I said before, they don't have a mitzvah, but they get the mitzvah to sit inside the sukkah. Whenever you're going to have some sort of meal or drink wine in the sukkah, if you can have like some sort of cracker or bread, obviously, something of substance inside the sukkah, we make a blessing leishev b'sukkah. So let's say I'm going to have a muffin. This is what I'm going to say. I'm going to get into the sukkah. I'm going to go Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei minei mezonos, and then I'm going to say Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedeshanu b'mitzvosav v'tzivanu leishev b'sukkah. I'm going to look at the schach. I'm going to look at the schach when I say leishev b'sukkah. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to eat my meal. Look inside your siddur for more of that. You make a leishev b'sukkah. A woman does make leishev b'sukkah, even though she doesn't have an obligation. She gets the mitzvah nevertheless. You should know that. She gets the mitzvah. The first time you make sheik lulav and esrog, you should say shechianu. I'm going very briefly over here. What time is that over? Okay, I can go a little bit over. We're going to say Hallel all the days, full Hallel. Full Hallel in our prayer on Sukkot. And then we're going to do the Hoshanas, except for on Shabbos. We're not going to do the Hoshanas. That's when we would go around the bima. It says in the Gemara they would have these gigantic willows, huge willows. And they would dance around the altar on this day of Sukkot. So we will do something similar to that every day. The davening is a little bit longer. Chabad does not put on tefillin all 8 days of Sukkot. We do not put on, it's Chol HaMoed. Oh, we're talking about laws of Chol HaMoed. Chol HaMoed, we do not, we wear our Yom Tiv clothes. Chol HaMoed means mundane, holy day. So it's mundane, yet it is holy. And there are certain things you're not allowed to do. You're not allowed to do any strenuous work, unless there's exceptions. Ask me if you need to do strenuous work. We try not to write, try not to do laundry. If you got to do it, you got to do it. This is like a time when there's 2 times a year when like frum Jews go on vacation. It's Sukkot and Pesach, which is like terrible. Because if you're Chabad, you don't eat or drink outside of the sukkah ever. So if you're traveling around, like you can't really travel too far because you don't. I mean, I like to eat when I'm all the time, so it's a problem. And then Pesach, like great, I have to eat like matzah, chicken all the time. Anyway, this is like a time for trips. Trying to do strenuous activity. Chol, we don't put on. You should have your sukkah ready one moment before Friday night, basically. You should make sure it's ready before Shabbos. This Shabbos. In this case, this Shabbos. Okay. What else could I tell you? I don't even know what we were just talking about. Let's just keep going. Amiras, Hashanas, Kafes. Yeah, we do Hashanas. Okay. Havdalah, Cholamoid. Okay. Oh, we're talking about Cholamoid. Yeah, it's kind of okay. We don't wear tefillin. Men, you don't wear tefillin. That's if you follow the Chabad custom, we don't wear tefillin for 8 days. Okay, that's the simplest error. Okay, I'm probably God willing, I always say this, but God willing, I'll try to do another class, more of a Hasidic insight into Sukkot. It's my favorite holiday. It's very deep, it's very practical, very relatable. But for now, we'll stop here. I'm sure the rabbi will do a halacha class more in depth tomorrow night. Does anybody have any questions? Let me know. Any questions? You can always text me. Obviously, WhatsApp me.
I have a question.
Yeah, Bella.
So, for cutting down the branches for the sukkah, is that something for it to be kosher? Is that something? Is it considered time out something men are supposed to do, or can I just get a machete and do it myself?
Yeah, you can get a machete and do it yourself. Why not? Sure.
Sweet. I have some bamboo that needs taken care of.
You have bamboo. You grow because you live in California. Yeah, you can do stuff like that. Yeah, over here we don't have bamboo. Yeah, that's a great idea. That's like the best thing you could possibly do. And bamboo is great because now you have to tie the bamboo together, right? With string, like it has to be like a earthy string. You can't use like anything like metally or rubbery to tie them together. You have to use like yarn, like hemp, those types of things to tie them together. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying? Just let me know if you have any questions.
So
Okay.
like a cotton thread or something like
I
that.
think a cotton thread should be okay. I'll have to double check with the rabbi. Just
Cool.
remind me. I think cotton. Cotton sounds
Yeah.
totally. Yeah. Why wouldn't cotton be okay? For sure.
Usually the ones in Home Depot, Lowe's, and stuff like that. I bought one and later found out after I bought it I couldn't use it because it's metal. It's
Oh,
like
metal,
an
yeah.
aluminum that goes through it. Yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
there is a website where you can get it though.
Yeah. Or if you grow it, I mean, yeah, right. Sukkot.com. There's a million for sure. You definitely have access. All of you have access. You can get stuff. Okay. If you have any questions, just text me, please. All right, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thanks for coming.
Is that good?
Thank you, Rabbi.
Yeah. See
Thank
you
you,
again.
Rabbi.
Yeah. See you again.